This is holy username Batman. If you haven't died of cringe already, I'm just going to talk you through what I plan to do in the Kill and Floor editor today, because I realised I never actually recorded any videos for the monstrosity of a guide I made. That thin. Which is kind of atrocious considering the amount of time I put into this. So today I'm just doing a little small project because I need something to ease me back into the editor. Oops. And that project is converting Boss Arena into my version of Boss Arena into a gun game map, which I thought might be interesting. It's definitely got the layout for one. It's small, compact, and it's an arena. So one of the first things I wanted to talk you through was something that a lot of mappers forget when they're working in custom game types. But actually going into, I believe it's, oh dear, I haven't forgotten, I'll figure it out. I do believe it's view, level properties, default game type, and you can see that's the class name for objective, so if you're ever working in objective you can memorize that. I'm going to paste in the one for... I'm not going to paste in the one for gun game. Nope, not there. Out of interest, this is a very good repository for quite a few mods and mutators. Mostly by Nixie, but intended to be the Super Pin Bros mutators. Anyway, sensitive search index. I do believe that's the correct one. So basically the game class type goes pasted in there, and the map would actually function as normal as a gun game map just from me renaming the prefix from Kill and Floor or Kill and Floor Objective to gun game. And you'd get the same thing for the Trials maps, you just rename it to TR. So that thing I've just done there basically is a OCD mapper type of thing, which means that which tells the map what game mode it's intended for, and it also means if you hop into preview play inside of the editor, it instantly knows which game mode to jump into. This might have the negative effect of if you don't have gun game actually installed on your Kill and Floor system, the map won't play, or it will just jump you into an empty map. I'm not actually sure if I do, so we can test it out. I'll just save this and we'll hop into quick play. And the lobby doesn't look quite right, so it might have broken after all. Yeah, that's right. So it's defaulted back to KF1, perhaps because I still have the objective actors inside. Perhaps because I don't actually have gun game installed on my system. So what we're going to do is I'll hop out now. Quit game. And first I'm going to double check I have everything in my files. So yay, you get to look through all of my files into the Kill and Floor system. And in an ideal world, after I file save, this should know what's going on. Lovely, lovely, lovely. This is the lobby menu we want. If we ready up, there'll probably be no bots because I haven't assigned any game rules. us roll on our own. Naturally, you can still enable cheats, and if you remember the bot command off by heart, you can probably add bots, but I do not. Huzzah! So you get to fight the floor. Kill the floor! And you can change team still. Happy days. Green team is winning. Now that I've got all the dual parts out of the way, let's talk about some general mapping. Some general mapping time savers. So, one thing I want to go over is selection rules. You know, if you ever worked in Photoshop or anything like it, you know that as well as learning all the tools and mechanics, learning different selection rules saves you time because it lets you select everything you want to select much faster than it would by normally clicking them one by one. Like, yes, let's select each objective one by one by one. So first you've got the right click select and select all actors of that type. You've got select all actors in the matching zone. So if you click up here, you can see your zone view. And if I selected all actors in the zone, I'd basically select everything inside of the map boundaries because there's only that one zone. And this weird one, which I assume is for the Patriots supportive squads, the crawlers, the clots, the whatevers, even though it doesn't actually work. Huzzah. Huzzah to whoever made this map. Continuing on. This is important because you can select all actors of that type in a second. And I can delete all actors of that type. Likewise, I can hold Control, Alt and left click to draw a selection box inside of the top, down and side views, but not in the orthographic view. And we can delete all them too. Actually, let's bring that back. Do I want to keep game rules? Not message trigger. Not scripted trigger. Oh. That's game rules. Level rules. Rules, equipment. Yeah, we don't want any of this, but this is what a Coneflow objective map would be able to customize even without mods. You know, it can change your starting equipment, it can change your... It can do a lot of stuff that would conflict with mods if you're not careful. So, I won't go playing around with it too much if you're running mutators like Fleshbound Party or Down to Blah. Down to Blah! Continuing on. Let's delete all that rubbish. Rubbish. And one last selection rule I want to go over you with is even when you select, it's not a good example map, but even when you select everything in a zone, for instance, well, for starters, it's not perfect. I always assumed it was because some actors actually clip out of the map, but I don't think that's the case in this scenario. So, all actors in zone isn't perfect. What it does do is it can give you a very good idea of where the zone is in your different orthographic views, because you can, in your different 2D views, because this can get quite confusing sometimes, like where am I relative to the 3D space. If you want to select basically everything, yeah, you've always got your box selection, but the piece that's really important is that if you've selected everything in the zone, you can then either assign that a group with the group group browser. Then assign that a group with a group browser. Add selected actors to groups. You can make a new group by going into their actor properties and editing the group field. So this is group everything. Update the group list, you've got everything right there. And that's important because you can toggle visibility, which saves on resources if you don't want that zone displayed at that time. So consider this is zone A and you're working on a big map, so you've got zone B over here. While you're working on zone B, you do not want to be rendering everything in zone A. So you could assign every zone a group and tick or untick them as you please. Likewise, you could select a zone you want to work on and press this fancy button, which is invert selection. That would select every actor except the ones in that zone, and you could then hide those actors, so you're only working in this zone and nothing else in your super large, massive, progressive objective map or whatever you're working on does not render while you're working inside of this zone. So it's all just micromanaging the performance of your Killing Floor editor while you're working inside of it. You do not want to be rendering stuff you're not working on, and you do not want to be waiting 10 plus seconds for every input. You can see there's none of that anymore because I'm running the patch. But there is this, there's always going to be this sort of weird thing where the camera rotates or pans when you try to click on something that's out of your central area of the screen. And there is some reading material on why that happens exactly, but it's just because it should be in my guide somewhere, but it's just because of the way this was made. It was made on an older type of mouse using a different type of input system, and that was more based on sort of complicated stuff. We'll get on with making this map now. So one funky thing about making gungame maps is admins will hate me if they ever hear about this, so I hope you're not an admin. But if you delete every player spawn on a map, select all player starts, delete, your every character, so that's every player and every bot, will now spawn at any path node or any navigation point. So they could spawn all the way up here, they could spawn all the way down there, and it's completely random. Because that's the fallback. When there's no player starts, it fallbacks to path nodes and it spawns you anywhere. Which is something really fun I found out in an objective map when I was using a different type of player spawn, the triggered player spawns, and they broke, so I disabled them. And I had some fallbacks which I didn't realise weren't working, so I had a funky little bug where you were spawning on top of areas you shouldn't have been spawning, like inside of Z volumes, for instance. So we don't want that. Now that we've done this, we want to basically delete everything not relevant to gun games. That's all the Z volumes, all the path nodes and navigation points inside of these spawning spaces. Z areas, Z spawns. We want to delete everything inside these Z spawns, so it's easiest to work in 2D views for this. I can just, for instance, select all path nodes and add them to a group called, well, not quite delete me, but spawn. I don't know. Nav stuff. Then we're going to select all zombie volumes and we're just going to delete those. I'm not going to bother adding them to the group actually, because you don't want any. Not in gun game. we're also going to select all scripted triggers because that's logic relating to this objective map, and we're going to delete all them too. The trader volume, bye bye. Bye bye. And I do believe there's a volume here too. Bye bye. Just for cleanliness' sake, I'm going to go into the objectives as well and empty them all. So we're cutting down on the size of this map because every gun game map should be super small, because why bother with the space when there's barely any logic in it? All the logic's in the gun game mode itself. I'm almost tempted to leave the collectibles in, but I think I destroyed the logic for it anyway. So I'd have to refine that logic, and I think they spawn at the end. They just give you a surprise and spawn you some Zeds anyway, so I'm gonna have to get rid of them. Bye bye collectibles. I don't know why you're a fin. I guess spectators, because I would zoom in on these parts, but there's no reason to have decorations in Z areas. Happy days. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back into the group actor and we're going to refresh and just bring back the nav stuff. It's a little hard to orientate yourself, but I do believe if I select you, you, and you, I might be able to start orientating myself from the top-down view. Yep. So what we want is all these exterior area path nodes gone. All of you gone. That's how you make a gun game map, Batman style. Right, and for the rest of them, oh, looks like I got all the stuff up here as well. Be kind of funny if there was no navigation up here to begin with. They just expect Zeds to know to jump down. Fun. A genius designed this map, surely. We do need, even though I'm disappointed that people could spawn up high to begin with, we do need these navigation points here because it's how the bots navigate in gun game. So I couldn't just get rid of all the path nodes on the high ground. I am tempted to get rid of that path node because that's an abuser spot. We don't want bots in the abuser spot, no siree. Or maybe we do. And that's it. We have a gun game map. Oh, did I miss a few spots? One thing you can do is align, no it's not a line, it's somewhere around camera. Can we find camera now? Oh my gosh, it's been a while. It's been a while. Set location from camera. No. Oh, oops, run. That one lets you move the actor to the camera. From order. Oh, align cameras. It's at the bottom there. Align cameras basically orientates you in all of your orthographic views. So it looks like that was the only one I missed. It's good to proof check it. If we were being smart, we'd also replace these trader doors with normal static meshes. But I'm lazy. Take the path of least resistance, as I've known programmers to say it. Is that a Bible? That is not a Bible. What a shame. Sorted. There's your map. There's the last 2 points I forgot to delete. Let's see if we can't test this baby. So for the proper test, I'm not sure how to play gungame with bots inside of solo. I'm just going to have to drop it into a server. So I'm going to drop it into a server. Pop into map voter. This is going to be annoying because it closes the menu every time you die. These scoundrels. Come on, don't kill me. I'm gonna hide. Where are you, Boss Arena? Oh, I think I need to... If you're unfamiliar with server admins, when you add a new map, you need to first add the map through web admin, but secondly, change a map at least once, because it takes at least one map to update the menu. Yeah, see, it's added now. Come on, get in there. Whew. As you can see, I got about... I do believe it's a minimum of 14 players. That's 7 per team. Which means that when you don't have the actual players, they're filled in by bots. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, I'm right. Would you look at that? Spawn kills galore. So there is... I should have mentioned, but there is a way to assign teams through the player stats if you don't wish to do random spawns like I do, because it's a bit janky. It's a bit janky in the sense of you can get spawn killed, but you can still get spawn killed on the original gun game. You just... Oh my... This is why we test. This is why we test. Hello, Pyro. Are you ready to suicide together? Come on. Come on. I want a buddy. Ah, man. Also, bots have aimbot. Like, how are you shooting me out of the sky? What the hell? What the hell, Gunter? Nasty. That can be like a secret room if you... It's a feature. It's like a timeout room, but people can still spawn up there with you. Oh man. It's not a bad gun game map all in all. It's debatable whether it makes a better gun game map than it does an objective map. This one sure gets a lot of hate. What is this aimbot? Come on, don't kill me. Okay, we'll get out of the game now so I can actually fix the map. What's interesting is the bots do continue playing on their own. And a lot of them do just stand still apparently. They like their spawn camping. They're almost like they're hibernating. They do start fighting normally when players are running about, as you've seen. But oh, Popo. But yeah, I'll fix that, and this should be good to go as a normal map. It should be. Okay, we're back in. One of the first things I want to do is show all actors to make sure I didn't miss one because it was hidden. And we're just going to manually fly around and check each one, because sometimes it's easier in the 3D view. Yep, all of these are fine-a-rooney. I think that bot who got in there must have just clipped through the blocking volume as they do. Let me confirm that they're actually blocking all pawns and not just player pawns, because that might be the case. That's funny how I got it to block cache. Didn't want people chucking dosh into the Patriot. Human pawn should block the bots actually, I don't know why. One magical dude got through. But there should be a class, I think, just called pawn, or kill him for pawn. That might work just as well. Elemental P, I know how to spell. Kill him for pawn. And we're going to have to add this to every class. If I recall correctly, if you select all blocking volumes and there is differences across them, it won't work. But if I deselect one with the differences, it still doesn't work. Blocking volumes are just, well, active properties are just annoying sometimes, especially when the index is like this. So it is just a case of manually doing it for every single one, which is soul crushing. If anyone finds a better way, do let me know. So, coming back, this should be the last edit. It turns out I did miss a sneaky path node or two, or three. The scoundrel. And there's one last very awkward thing which I realised I missed out, and it might be something you want to look out for too, but it's these sneaky buggers. So these are also navigation points, they're just not traditional path nodes, they're zombie path nodes. So obviously you want to select all of them and delete them. And that does just go to show that of course the Patriots had some sort of path node, they didn't just know to jump. That should have been ringing alarm bells even if I was laughing at it. Laughing at the idea. That's it. I did notice a lot of bots around, which area was it? It was around this area, seemed to go into a sort of hibernation state where they didn't know what to do, where to go, they couldn't path to players. I'm not sure if that might be because they just do not like doors, and that tempts me to just destroy all these doors. Do any of the other gun game maps have doors? They do not. I think bots just hate doors. So I might just delete all of them. It's going to be easier that way. Select all door movers. Boom. Select all killing floor use triggers. Just random trivia, but killing floor use triggers can only be used in doors. They can't be used in anything else because Tripwire made them that way. They're just exclusively doors. Trader doors never had a use trigger to begin with, and to be honest, this doesn't need lighting. Or this whole mesh actually. Oh. Saving system resources where we can. I'm going to see if I can. Also, when you're trying to select something, sometimes the corona's getting in the way, so that's why that never seemed to be selecting. It was just selecting one of the lights. Align cameras. I'm just going to select everything. Everything. The selections are faster in the 2D views as well, presumably because they're not trying to pass the surfaces as well. Like surface selection, it's always the slowest. Usually. Sometimes they just struggle because the mouse is awkward, like I said. We'll skip out whatever that is. To be honest, there is a thing where you can just delete this brush as well, because that doorway is a separate brush and nobody's going inside here. We can get rid of that proxy trigger as well, because that's for the eyeball, the Patrix eyeball. And I think we've got all the logic. The teleporters we'll just keep in because, well, they're also navigation points. You can see here view paths. They're quite pivotal ones, so if I did delete them, I'd have to put path nodes there anyway. But otherwise, you would want to get rid of them. Funny that I don't have a path node right here. I definitely did have one. Bad map design. So that's something you want to be looking over. Is the path nodes correct? Have they got any blind spots? Do they allow for a maximum amount of space both left and right and up? You want up space as well, because sets like the Patriots and so on are, well, any pawn needs a lot of height for some reason with their path in, a lot more than you'd expect. So we're going to go into build options now. I've edited both geometry, lighting and pathing now, so I want to rebuild all of it. You're going to go with default settings for BSP, unless you see BSP holes, in which case you can fiddle with that. You want RGB and lighting because that's the most optimized, and everything else should stay the same. You do not want to save any configs because saving a new config breaks the editor. So you're just stuck with default. You're stuck manually doing this every time. Let's build. Reach specs is going to take a very, very, very long time, but I think I'm good to just go and save and test this map now, so I'll stop the recording here. Time for the ultimate final test. Final test. Which, well, you better get used to if you plan to start making maps. Come on. Ah, you kill stealer. No wonder you're called Dave the Butcher. Come on. Where are we? Stay away from me, you aimbots. I want to figure out actually is if they're able to navigate the high ground as well. So I'm just going to expose myself by walking up here to all the aimbots in existence. Looks like I can get up that high at least. Come on. Take cover. Alright, yeah. My teammates can follow me. The enemies don't feel inclined to go into the high ground, which is fine. It can be something the humans do exclusively. No, wait. You stay away from me with that Winchester. Damn it. Oh. Oh, I'm getting wrecked here. Bloody hell. This looks like it's going to be one of the harder gun game maps, at least with bots. There's nice use of cover in this map at least. Looks like our team's wrecking. We are outnumbering them. Oh. Where's Chain's team? Come on, headshot. Ah, the enemies do navigate up high. They just do it rarely. Oh boy, that's a lot of them. Well, I think we can call this a successful test. I don't see any shenanigans going on anymore. I'm going to hop into spectator now actually and see if we don't have any hibernating bots. No, they're all cracking on. Welcome to Gungame Boss Arena. Do comment if you want me to actually release this. I better release it. I'll release it. Camouflage rarely sees map releases nowadays. So you'll see that in the workshop coming soon. And what date is it? If Christmas is coming up. No, we're a ways off Christmas. Whatever holidays you celebrate, have a happy one.